What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man. And yes, I'm back at it again. And this is Dr. Stone, episode 10, discussion/review. And I gotta tell you, man, like I say every week, it was another fantastic episode. The animation is Dr. Stone, so it's always fantastic. It's always done very, very good. But some stuff happened in this episode, man. Some major stuff happened in this episode, and let's just dive right in and get right to it, man. Okay, so the whole episode picked up off after last week's episode. But before we dive into that, man, we have got to discuss this little segment that we saw at the beginning, where we saw SENKU when he was a little kid learning about electricity, man. Little SENKU was so cool, man. He looked so cool. He was in the classroom, wasn't paying attention, just reading his books. That whole shot was nice. I absolutely loved that. But let's get right into the episode, man. Yeah, like I said, it started right after last week's episode, and they were kind of discussing everything, kind of thinking about how they were going to actually deal with Tsukasa and try to convince the other villagers to continue to join them as well. So that was a nice segue. Then we ventured off into something totally different, man. We get to the point to where SENKU and everyone, they're talking to Tsukasa, I want to say her name was, and they're talking to her about Gin, and that Gin was originally sent there by Tsukasa and this other bad guy, this super bad guy, I mean, because he wants SENKU dead. And she was like so surprised, like, no, is he a bad guy? Well, he seems nice. And well, SENKU's dead? Well, obviously I'm not dead. I'm right here. So that was nice, that whole little transaction that was going on right there. But then we see Gin listening in, but he didn't respond to anything. And then we continue to talk about everything, and everyone was like, and pretty much in unison, saying that, you know, I feel like we can trust Gin. And Chrome jumps out the window and tells Gin, hey Gin, you hear that? You hear what we said? So it's nice. And last week I was still a little suspicious of Gin, but this episode solidified his alliance with the science world, man. And I'm super excited to see what else he brings to the table, because dude brought some stuff to the table this week, man. And let's talk about what he brought to the table. Okay, so after that whole little interaction with Chrome and everyone else, and Gin listening in on what they were discussing about him and Tsukasa, and he makes his way over to the copper wheels that were, you know, constructed to make the electricity. And all of a sudden, dude, then dudes get bum rushed by Magma, I think that's his name. And dude, he is mollywhopping Gin, man. Like, he is beating the brakes off Gin, because we all know Gin's not a fighter, man. He's another thinker, and fighting is not his forte, because Magma just straight mollywhopped him. But since he's such a mentalist and a thinker, he was already prepared in case someone attacked him. He packed little packets of berries to look like blood, so he did take damage, but he didn't take the damage that we seen him take, because it was all packets full of blood that Magma was hitting. He was hitting him as well, but like the blood that was gushing out was the packets of blood that he made to fool people, which was very nice. And that's how you think ahead. Like, many people wouldn't have thought of that, but that was a great plan, because he never knew if he was going to be attacked or whenever he was going to be attacked. So he packed this pre-packed this and had it just sitting on his person, waiting for him to be attacked, waiting for himself to be attacked by everyone, assuming whether it was Magma or Tsukasa, some of Tsukasa's people, which was very nice, man. And even when he stabbed him, I thought he was dead. My heart dropped. I was like, just when I'm starting to respect dude and kind of understand him a little bit, dude dies. But I was okay, because like when everything happened, SENKU was like, no. This is packs of blood. He's safe. So then, in that whole little mist of thing that we're having, we also see a flashback of when he got awakened from the stone by Tsukasa, and Tsukasa gave him a whole revelation. You know, like, well, you know, it's 5,000 years after everything that happened, and he was like, well, I remember you because you were on that special on the show with me, as well as the strongest primate high schooler and everything. And then we see Tsukasa have bukus of people look like dangerous people that he's going to revive and make them in his faction. So that's another terrier. Scary thing that's going to terrorize everyone else eventually. But then we get to another part that was good. We have, after all of this, because Gen is still beaten up and they're taking him back to the place to take care of him. Then we see a flashback of Kohaku and Magma saying that he's going to kill her sister just so he can take over the village. Dude, of course this chick was going to intervene if you threatened to take over her sister and kill her and then try to take over the village and everything. Dude, did you not think this through when you said this? So then that happens, and we see the whole interaction flashback that happened with that, and we understand why he hates Kohaku and anything to do with Kohaku. And we also see why her father disowned her as well. But before that, we saw Sueka investigate who attacked Gen, and she came across these two fools. But what else happened? Oh, after that, then we discussed about Kohaku training Kinro and Genro to take over the village and marry Rui. So that was nice, and the whole thing had me kind of perplexed because we all know that Chrome feels some type of way about Rui, and then we got a nice miniature flashback from Chrome and Rui when they were kids running through the flower fields. There was a lot of flashbacks this episode, but overall this episode to me was a 10, man. I don't know what anybody else is going to rate this episode, but this episode was a 10. Now let's talk about Kohaku was still training Kinro and Genro. That was nice. And then Chrome made a wonderful statement, which is why I still consider him best boy. I love Senku. Senku is one of my favorite characters, but Chrome is best boy, man, because this particular moment he said, I'm okay with Rui marrying someone else as long as I get to help save her life. Dude, that is fantastic, man. Dude, you don't have too many people that are willing to give up their happiness to save someone else. You don't get the comparison what's going on with that, man. So then he tells that, I'm not a sorcerer anymore, I'm a sciencer. And then him and Senku walks off and they're discussing about making the antibiotics for Rui. It was so fantastic, man. And then we see we have a moment in the little hut where Gen starts whispering and talking to Senku, and Senku's talking back to him. And I was wondering what they were saying, but then it pans up and we get to the next day, and Gen left. And I'm like, why did he leave? Dude, no, they were helping you, and you guys were building a rapport. Everything is perfect now. Why are you leaving? So then I kind of in my mind, I kind of knew what he was going to do. I was like, he's going to tell Tsukasa that Senku's dead. But that wasn't the only thing he done. He told Senku to make him a soda, man. If he can make him a cola, then he's already on his side, man. That was fantastic for that to happen. But what I really wanted to discuss was this moment. When Gen left, and we knew, and you saw that everything around the village, and even with Senku's and them in the hut, it's all nice and pretty and sunshiny, and you feel good just watching that part. But when Gen was on his way to Tsukasa's lair, the whole scenery and the whole color spectrum of this episode changed. It was straight dark. You saw thunder clouds, and the trees seemed like they weren't taken care of anymore, and they were living in like mountains and caves and everything. You can tell that at that moment, we knew he was the villain already from when he tried to kill Senku, but at that moment you can tell it solidified everything, because at that moment it showed him in the villain's light, as you would say, because his surroundings, the tone of the whole color and everything on that side of the map was darker, grittier, and everything. So that solidifies that Senku's the big bad. So that was not Senku, Tsukasa's the big bad, and I love that fact, how they done that. The village and everything and everywhere where Senku was actually light and fun and hearty, and then where Tsukasa is and his minions, it's dark and gritty, and you could tell that they have a lot going on. And let's just talk about the people he revived for a moment. The one dude that shot the arrows, he seemed like a cool character, but everybody else seems like thugs, man. They're like big and buff dudes, and even that one chick that was waiting in the doorway, she looks evil, man. She's like you couldn't see her face, like you saw outlines of her face and her hair and everything. So I'm super excited, man, because it's getting good and it's getting fantastic. I haven't had a bad episode of Dr. Stone at all. Every episode was absolutely fantastic, man. And when Gen said, I got in a fight with another village, but it's okay because Senku is dead. Dude, it was so fantastic. And he was like, I made a flimsy alliance, and that's where the title comes from, based on a cola. That is absolutely fantastic, man, and I can't wait to see more of Gen and Senku and the whole gang and the science community, because it is absolutely fantastic, man. This is your boy, The Incredible. Don't forget to smash that like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them. And subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life. And Dr. Stone episode 10 is absolutely fantastic, man. Do you want a cola? Peace out, man.